It's been an hour. I can't believe it. They're still playing footage of White Rabbit #1 when the moon landing is happening right now? They must have discovered something that they can't tell us about. Is it possible that there are aliens waiting outside the lander? Maybe, I guess. Perhaps the aliens said hi at the 3 astronauts and said, "Welcome to the moon" or something. The live broadcast of White Rabbit 9's manned moon landing was cut off for an hour. The capital city of Seoul didn't give any other explanation other than asking the host, Dude Dan, to come out and explain that the signal was interrupted due to electromagnetic interference. Despite being able to see only old footage of the previous landing, the people sitting in front of the television and in the live broadcast room did not dare to leave for a moment. They were afraid that they would miss an important scene. On the internet's hot topic list, the hottest topic were hashtag livestream interrupted for an hour hashtag and hashtag what exactly is on the moon hashtag. The top 10 trending searches were all related to the moon. It appeared that everyone in the great nation of Seoul was talking about this. Meanwhile, the same kind of discussions were also held in other countries. Can anyone use a VPN to check what's happening in Seoul right now? Are they watching the old footage as well, or is it just us? The live broadcast is hosted by Seoul's government, right? Judging from the quality, I almost thought that it was streamed by some small media company. I came back from Seoul's live broadcast. The live stream in the great nation of Seoul is the same as what we've seen. It's all replays. What's going on? Did they discover something? What the hell is Great Seoul doing? They're doing a live broadcast and a 1-hour replay. Who are they trying to fool? Thomas replied, Great Seoul's live broadcast was interrupted for an hour. The reason for it is because of electromagnetic interference. However, as far as we know, there doesn't seem to be any external electromagnetic interference near the landing site on the dark side of the moon. Yeah, electromagnetic interference. Wait, you said there isn't any? Chief Engineer Yang coughed and smiled. Right. There's a small glitch in our equipment. The camera that we developed turned black. We couldn't adjust it for a long time. After hanging up, Thomas instructed, mobilize the Zeus detector and search for any electromagnetic waves near the moon. He suspected that there might really be some electromagnetic waves on the dark side of the moon. As it turned out, Great Seoul had detected it while they had not. This was very scary to him. This meant that the great nation of Seoul's detection technology, in a certain aspect, might have surpassed theirs. He hung up the phone in regret. Calling didn't help at all. Not only did he not get any useful information, he also increased his workload by having to call for a full investigation. What the hell is Great Seoul doing? Thomas browsed through the comments on the internet. All the comments were saying everyone suspected that Great Seoul have discovered aliens. This was not impossible. Humans had launched many satellites onto the moon. They knew very well the condition of the moon's surface. However, who knew if there wasn't any extraterrestrial technology that deceived them this whole time? Which satellites do we have on the dark side of the moon right now? He asked. We need ones that can see the landing point of White Rabbit 9? Not at the moment, sir. The nearest long-orbit satellite will be in a day's time. Get that satellite ready at all times. Focus on observing the situation at White Rabbit 9's landing point a day later. The entire world was paying attention to Great Seoul's manned moon landing, and these people were no exception. When White Rabbit 9 reached the dark side of the moon, it was not that they did not want to continue monitoring. The thing was, their satellites on the moon happened to have limited capacity. Furthermore, the dark side could not be observed directly through Earth's equipment, so they could only obtain information from Great Seoul's official website. Meanwhile, in the Great Seoul Space Agency, are you sure that the filming location is the landing point? Chief Engineer Yang stared at the image from the lunar exploration satellite. He was a little confused. On the screen, there was no White Rabbit 9 landing cabin. The ground was barren. The spaceship, too. There was not even a single trace of landing. We're sure. We've used 3 algorithms to calculate. The location captured by the satellite is correct. It's where White Rabbit 9 landed. The staff member said affirmatively, but his tone was filled with uncertainty. Then tell me, where's the spaceship? Where are they? Chief Engineer Yang's voice trembled. This kind of thing had never happened before. He did not know what the consequences would be. All the staff members looked at the images sent back by the satellite. They were all at a loss and were terrified to find out what happened. They all watched as White Rabbit 9 was being launched from the ground and flew toward the moon. They watched it all, step by step, before the spaceship finally landed on the dark side of the moon. Some people even suspected that they had a problem with their memory, so they found the video of White Rabbit 9 landing on the moon. After taking a good look, they confirmed that White Rabbit 9 had, indeed, landed on the moon from outer space. After a long silence, someone finally couldn't help but say, "Chief Engineer Young, perhaps there's something wrong with this long-orbit detection satellite. Maybe there was a problem with the image transmission. Why don't we let the near-orbit satellite take a look again?" Chief Engineer Young nodded slightly. He felt that the possibility of an error during image transmission was very high. Otherwise, what could have explained the disappearance of a giant spaceship? How long before the nearest near-orbit satellite arrives? 2 days. What about the other forces? He asked. There are 5 satellites on the moon. The satellites of ASIN are assembled, and the images are synthesized in the later stages. They don't have the capability to observe the landing point. The technology inherited by the Northern Bear lacks maintenance, and there is no satellite landing point. The Five Eyes does have a remote satellite landing point. It will take 3 days for them to arrive. The closest ones belong to Thomas. Their long-orbit satellite would pass through the landing point in a day. Boss, should we contact them? No, they won't tell us the truth. Chief Engineer Young pondered for a moment and said, their long-orbit satellite will arrive in a day. Let's see how they will react then. Number 10. Li Zonghong said anxiously, Boss, please go and persuade Big Sister Zhang. She doesn't want Brother Wang Er to go and see Little Sister Qian. If he doesn't go, Little Sister Qian won't come down from the basket. Hey, you like Sister Qianjiu, don't you? Zhao Yu chuckled.
Yes.
But Sister Qianjiu likes Brother Wang Er.
Yes.
Brother Wang Er and Big Sister Zhang belong together.
Yes.
Sister Qianjia's body is very hard. She won't die even if she falls from the basket, right? She might break her nails. Zhao Yu shrugged. So, even if Sister Qianjia doesn't come down, it doesn't matter. At most, she'll break her nails. Anyways, if you still want me to persuade Brother Wang Er, I might just do that. But what are you going to do if Brother Wang Er and Sister Qianjiu start to like each other? What am I going to do? Li Zongheng's expressions kept changing. After a while, he gritted his teeth and said, her happiness is my happiness. Boss, let's go find Big Sister Zhang now. You bootlicker. Zhao Yu didn't know what else to say. He was the one who designed Number 10's character to be like this, but it was still kind of dumbfounding to interact with someone with a personality like this. Who are you calling a bootlicker? I'm not a bootlicker.
Li Zongheng Dania.
Yes, you are. I'm really impressed by how much of a bootlicker you are. Zhao Yu shook his head. Under Li Zongheng's urging, he rushed to Big Sister Zhang's house, explained the situation, and had Brother Wang Er come with him for a while. Zhao Yu didn't follow them to watch what happened next. While he was the one who orchestrated these androids to act romantically to each other, he wasn't one to, say, believe in love. He also didn't like watching other people in love, so he just left Brother Wang Er and Sister Qianjiu to do their own thing. After walking along the corridor for a while, he saw a figure sneaking up on the wall and doing something. Zhao Yu's eyes sparkled as he walked over quietly. Bajia, what are you doing? Bajia was startled. He turned his head and heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Zhao Yu. He smiled awkwardly and said, Boss, I found that the wall is dirty. I'm wiping it now. Zhao Yu didn't believe his nonsense and leaned against the wall. There was a 3-centimeter-long piece of glass there. Inside the glass, mist lingered, and a beautiful figure could be seen taking a shower. Who's inside? It's Little Seven. Bajia chuckled and peeked through the cracks in the glass. TSK, Little Seven's got a smoking hot body. The two of them leaned against the wall for a while. As they continued to watch, a voice suddenly came from behind them. What are you guys doing? When Zhao Yu turned around, Lu Wumei looked at the two of them with a puzzled expression. He quickly stood up straight and used his body to block the glass. Ahem, the wall is dirty. I'm wiping it with Bajia. Brother Yu, leave this kind of chore to us. Why bother yourself with such an unimportant job? Lu Wumei said as she came up to help wipe the wall. Zhao Yu quickly stopped her. No need, no need. It's already clean. What about you? What are you doing? Oh, right. Lu Wumei slapped her forehead and quickly said, the butler asked me to send food to the captives. Boss, I'll go and get busy first. Captives? Zhao Yu was stunned and quickly pulled her back. Wait a minute, what captives? The captives? Lu Wumei asked in confusion. The captives that Xiaotian number 18 captured? Only then did Zhao Yu realize that Uncle De seemed to have wanted to tell him about it. Uncle De, what did you say about number 18? He asked. The red light above the corridor lit up. Sir, Xiaotian number 18 has discovered a spaceship and captured 3 aliens. They have been dragged back to the base. Uncle Da's emotionless voice rang out. What? Zhao Yu was shocked and quickly confirmed. We caught 3 aliens? Yes, Uncle Da said. The biological characteristics of the 3 people are very similar to you, officer. 2 men and 1 woman. Where are they? Bring me there. It had been more than 5 years since he had transmigrated from planet Earth. This was the first time Zhao Yu had heard about living creatures close to him. He could not help but be a little excited. So, aliens. The real question was, were they from this planet or from other planets? Speaking of which, Zhao Yu was also a little afraid. He was worried that he had been exposed to whoever these explorers were connected with. Worse yet, he was afraid that his base would be destroyed when it's exposed to aliens. The detention room was only 10 square meters. There was no furniture at all. It was empty. The 3 astronauts didn't dare to take off their spacesuits. They sat back to back in the middle. The older astronaut closed his eyes and thought about what to possibly say next. The other 2 young astronauts were whispering to each other. There's still half an hour of oxygen left. What should we do later? I don't know. It seems like there's air in this environment, but I don't know if I can breathe. Lu Ning, do you think Earth knows that we've been captured by aliens? Probably. The people watching must be very worried. You know, since our giant spaceship was towed away from the landing site. Does that mean we're going to be famous? His reaction made Lu Ning speechless. She shook his head and said, Wang Dong Dong, focus on the present. We don't even know if we can return to Earth alive. While the 2 of them were having it out, Captain Zhang Tao suddenly opened his eyes and whispered, Do you feel like you're being watched? Ah. The 2 of them were stunned and looked around warily. However, there was nothing else other than mirrors. 2-sided mirror? Zhao Yu was standing outside these mirrors. He was listening to the conversation as the volume was magnified many times. Even though the voices of these astronauts were very soft, it was still very clear to hear. Arfi, Unklida. Did they say Earth? Yes, during their conversation, the 3 of them mentioned Earth a total of 4 times. Zhao Yu frowned and looked at the flags on their chests. He was shocked. It was the flag of the great nation of Xia before he transmigrated. Could it be that the place he transmigrated to wasn't far away and was still in the solar system? Where are their spaceships? In the quarantine room. Uncle Da, record their conversation. I'll go to the spaceship to take a look. Zhao Yu planned to see if there were any clues on the spaceship. The spaceship was very simple and crude. It looked like a persimmon, an irregular cylinder. White Rabbit number 9. Zhao Yu read the Chinese characters outside the spaceship. He was 70% sure that he was still in the solar system. He boarded the spaceship and found the thing that represented time under Uncle Da's guidance. A cell phone. After it was opened, the time displayed on the screen was September 21st, 2028, 2055. Zhao Yu carefully recalled that the time he had transmigrated and the time he had spent in this world happened to be the time on his phone. This meant that he really did not travel too far and was still in the solar system, or rather on the moon. The White Rabbit is a spaceship used by Great Xia to explore the moon. Since the 3 of them can come up, it means that they can go back too. Zhao Yu was a little excited when he found out about this. I've been away from home for so long. Can I finally return to Earth?